Good morning. My name is Reverend Laura Solomon, and I am so exhilarated to be your candidate for settled ministry. Oh my goodness, it is a big morning. We gather this morning at the end of a long, exciting, full week. Your search team, Marva Williams and Penny Bartlett, Sharon Fitchthorn, Craig Harris, Lisa Jacobs, Melissa Nedza, Derek Schweitzer, and Ann Stouffer have done an incredible job of organizing They have done an incredible job of organizing events and meetings all week, giving me an opportunity to meet with and get to know you. This week, I have started to hear your thoughts and hopes, your dreams and fears, as we mutually discern the ways our wants and needs, our strengths and opportunities for growth might converge. Our work together this week has been to explore the possibilities and potential of shared ministry. Sure, a congregation that is in search, as we say, is looking for a minister, but it is also true that a minister who is in search is looking for a congregation with whom they can co-create ministry. So this past week, this past year, who are we kidding, the past many years, have been building to today as a day when we decide if and how we say yes to one another's gifts and growing edges. The things we can already tell we love about one another, and the things we can already tell need a little work. We are humans, coming together in human relationship, wondering whether we will dare to engage deeply with one another on a journey. So today is a big day. Will you take a breath with me as we acknowledge and hold together how big that is? I share with you these words from the Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman. Ministry is all that we do together. Ministry is that quality of being in community that affirms human dignity, beckons forth hidden possibilities, invites us into deeper, more constant, reverent relationships, and carries forward our heritage of hope and liberation. Ministry is what we do together as we celebrate triumphs of our human spirit, miracles of birth and life, wonders of devotion and sacrifice. Ministry is what we do together with one another in terror and torment, in grief, in misery and pain, enabling us in the presence of death to say yes to life. We who minister speak and live the best we know with full knowledge that it is never quite enough. And yet we are reassured by lostness found, fragments reunited, wounds healed, and joy shared. Ministry is what we do together. Let us worship. As a community of faith, learning to live and love together, we gather to collectively hold the joys and sorrows of our lives. We gather with singing and with silence, and we gather in prayerful reverence that we might each connect with the Spirit, with God, with the divine, however you understand it. Will you join me in a moment of prayer? Spirit of life and love, in addition to all we have already named, it is also Mother's Day. Mother's Day is for some a beautiful celebration of loving and being loved. For those with loving biological mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, foster mothers, aunties, grandmas, bubbies, nanas, and all of you who are loving mothers in all the forms mothering takes, we celebrate you. We see your gifts, your love, the ways you carry your families, your communities, your world through acts large and small. May you who mother feel loved and supported and known. For some, this is a day that marks loss. For those who have lost children at any age, whether they were known or unknown to you, we see you in our midst. For those who have lost mothers and mother figures, whether they were known or unknown to you, we see you. May you who are grieving feel supported and loved and known. For still others, Mother's Day marks what never was or what never could be. If you had a mother who was absent, emotionally or physically, we are with you. For those of you who struggle or struggled with infertility, for those who are unable to be mothers for any reason, we are with you. May you feel supported and loved and known. And for some of us, today marks a day that is too complex to fit into any one category. For trans mothers and non-binary parents who care for children, for incarcerated mothers, mothers with estranged children, and children with estranged mothers, for families with multiple mothers, for single mothers, for those who never wanted to be mothers, for siblings who assume the role of mother, for all who mother plants and pets, this day and every day. May you feel supported and loved and known. Amen. So people often ask me, what does a minister do? There's this misconception that ministers work on Sundays and spend the rest of the week doing, I'm not entirely sure what. I've had several kids say things to me like, oh, you're the person that talks. That definitely isn't wrong, but I do hope that as a minister, I do a little bit more than that. You have all done a lot of work over the past year discerning what you want, what is important to you in a minister. When I was a kid, the minister at my church was named Reverend John, and it was important to me that Reverend John cared about me and my family, and that I could tell that he cared about us. It was also important to me that Reverend John taught me how to care about others, about how to take care of the world, and that I felt like he had good ideas about how to be a loving and caring person. And it was also kind of important to me that Reverend John could tell good stories. I liked hearing good stories. So I wonder, what's important to you? What's important to you in a minister? Just shout it out and I'll repeat it into the microphone. Inspirational. Spiritual. Get to know us. Empathic, sense of humor. Serving the community, caring. Personal stories. Inclusive. Justice-oriented. I agree with you. These are all really important things for a minister. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, a minister is really just the person that talks about those things in front of people. But we all have the opportunity to live this ministry. Have you ever had a time when you were a good listener, or when you were caring, or when you were empathetic towards others? Maybe a time when you were thinking about justice or did the right thing? When you tried to live your values or taught something to someone else? That is ministry. And that is something all of us share and create together. I knew that was going to make me cry. Thank you so much, Jeff and the band and Joy. Do you know what a murmuration is? I love that word, murmuration. It sounds magical, and it is a magical event. A murmuration happens when birds, especially starlings, fly together in great numbers and seem to dance through the sky. Thousands, even millions, move as one body, sweeping and soaring, turning and diving in coordinated, breathtaking patterns. It's called a murmuration not only for the motion, but for the sound. The soft, rushing whisper of wings beating in unison, a collective breath across the sky. Other creatures move in this way too. Fish do it, and it's called shoaling or schooling. Insects swarm. But this collective movement is more than just a crowd moving in the same direction. Let me tell you, last summer I went to a Pink concert in Philly at Lincoln Financial Field with about 55,000 people. I'm not sure what you would call our exit after the concert, but it was not a murmuration. We bumped and jostled and stepped on each other's feet, and then we sat in gridlocked traffic for what felt like hours. Everybody was angry and on edge, frustrated with people around them. We were riding the high from the joy of the concert, but ended up feeling like everyone was a little too close, a little too loud, a little too much. But murmuration is different. It's not chaos, it's attunement. Each bird is deeply in sync with those around it. They respond not to one leader, but to each other, micro-adjusting their speed and direction and distance in real time. They are deeply in tune with one another, communicating and supporting and being with one another, even without words. Activist and author Adrienne Marie Brown describes it like this: there is a right relationship, a right distance between them. Too close and they crash. Too far and they can't feel the micro-adaptations of the other bodies. Each creature is shifting direction, speed, and proximity based on the information of the other creatures' bodies. She writes, there is a deep trust in this. To lift because the birds around you are lifting. to live based on your collective real-time adaptations? What if our communities moved like that? She wonders. In her book, Emergent Strategy, Brown offers a way of acting and being rooted using this wisdom found in nature. She defines emergent strategy as how we intentionally change in ways that grow our capacity to embody the just and liberated worlds we long for. One of the core principles of emergent strategy is to move at the speed of trust. Move at the speed of trust. We can only flock if we trust the birds around us, that they will carry us when we falter, that they'll slow when we need to rest, that they will rise when we need to rise. Flocking doesn't get better just because we add more birds. It gets better when we deepen trust. What if our movements for justice and belonging cultivated that kind of trust and responsiveness, that kind of relationship? What if we were able to change with grace and fluidity because we felt the others around us changing? What if we modified the way we were doing things because we could sense in subtle ways that harm was being done, that someone was less comfortable, that someone didn't quite feel included? What if we slowed collectively in response to fatigue, or we changed configurations so those more tired could ride the tailwind for a while? What if we took turns calling one another to rise and allowed that rising to be shaped in ways informed by others that we could not even see? Isn't that kind of a definition of shared ministry? Isn't that what we are here in this congregation trying to do? As Unitarian Universalists, we gather not just to sit together on Sunday morning. We gather not just to be in one-on-one relationship with a minister. We gather to move ourselves, our world, and one another forward towards justice, liberation, and compassion. We gather to move into a deeper relationship with one another and with the planet. And we try to do it through listening, adaptation, community, and care. Over the course of this week, I have heard you asking, individually and in groups, will you see me? Will you see us? You are asking. Will you welcome me? Will you see my leadership? Will you invite me in even though I come exhausted? Will you welcome this different idea I have that invites some change? Will you see us and the way we do things here that I love? You asked. Will you welcome me with my belief in God or with my atheism? Will you listen to my opinion and my feelings that are different from yours? Will you see me? Will you see us? You have asked. These are questions of trust, and they are holy, sacred, vulnerable questions, not just to be asking a minister, but to be asking one another. While I may be a minister, the minister is only one part of the murmuration of ministry here at UUCDC. Each of us, each of you are asked to both lead and to follow, to listen and to respond to what is happening around you. Out of that mutual responsiveness emerges a fluid, unified whole that moves with purpose and grace. Just like the birds, each of us is finding the right place, the right distance at which we can fly. Some of us are drawn to sharp turns and rapid change. Others move best in the long, low swoop around the edge. We may bump into each other along the way. Nobody said birds were perfect. But Adrienne Marie Brown reminds us, no one bears the burden of figuring out the next move and muscling towards it. Together, we learn. Together, we trust. Together, we rise. In shared ministry, we are invited into a dynamic of connection and trust and collaboration. This is not always the fastest way forward, but it is the most sustainable and the most life-giving. It allows us to move together with agility and integrity, co-creating a faith in motion, resilient, responsive, and alive. It allows us to learn the art of trust, not for the first time, but for the first time now, in this particular configuration, with this weather, in this community of souls. And when we zoom out, when we look from a wider view, we realize that this community is just one bird in a larger murmuration. The flock of liberal religion, the collective movement toward justice and healing and hope. In the shared ministry of our Unitarian Universalist faith, may we strive to move into a world of lasting justice and liberation. May we love ourselves and one another. May we love this messy, imperfect, beautiful community. And in that love, may we rise together. Amen.